GMOs, no 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 GMOs. So thank you very much for coming out. No GMOs, 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 no GMOs. Here we are again protesting against Monsanto. How have we come to this point? I mean, if they have been here for years, and people have been calling for banning genetically engineered food over the years. We say it over and over and over again, and we're still here every time facing a new product that comes out. And shame, yes. And in 1999, I was at a conference in Delhi that was organized by Vandana Shiva. And at that moment, we called for a global ban on genetically engineered food. We called for a global ban on patenting genes and a global ban on stealing the genes of indigenous peoples and promoting organic farming and instituting a fair and just transition program for farmers and communities affected by the ban.
Here's to Mother Nature, here's to Mother Nature, we appreciate her efforts, but we ought to make it clear, she's standing in the way of progress, we can take it on from here, yes, she's been standing in the way of progress, we can take it on from here.
So the National Farmers Union has organized this rally right across the country. And hopefully this is a time where we finally start to really tell Monsanto to get out of Canada. When I was in India, because when I was in India, it was the farmers that were getting together and saying, Monsanto out of India. And so I think this is maybe a turning point. So I'm very pleased that we have some farmers to speak. And here comes the first farmer here, Candice Thompson from Fuca.
So I just had a really interesting experience. I was just having a cup of tea, and there was two elderly couples gathered. And they said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, just doing my little cue cards up. And I said, "Oh, I'm writing this little thing about genetically modified alfalfa." And the woman immediately said to me, "Who do you work for?" And I said, "I'm a farmer. I work for myself." "Why would you do this?" She said, "Because farmers do these things. They fight for what they believe in." And we all know the catastrophes of soya, canola, wheat, corn. But this is the first perennial crop. And if any of you know what perennial means, what does it mean? Ever returning. It's here forever. So any ramifications of genetically modified alfalfa is here to stay on every level. Contamination is assured. It's not possible that it's not going to happen. It will for sure happen. It's always that answer of when, and when we think about these crops, the when is almost immediately upon the first flowering. It's not a real long process. It's immediate, right? So let's say from the beginning it's non-negotiable that we're not okay with this happening. And this is like genetic pollution. So we have to kind of look at it that way. It's pollution, and we don't want to say yes to that. You want to say no, absolutely. Say no. We don't even actually know what happens to us as the people long term from all the genetically modified crops we are eating right now. Alfalfa is a widely used crop, and the minute we have genetically modified alfalfa and drift going on, we can't use that anymore. It's a massive danger to all of us. Talking about the apple, we're talking about let's declare Vancouver Island genetically modified free. Let's do that, and our communities, and our island, and our country, and hey, how about our world?
Let's go for that.
So for that, let's be healthy people, and let's fight for what we believe in, and let's remember that the only thing we have a zillion% control of, well, we used to, I say, is what we put in our bodies. But we don't have control of that anymore if all of a sudden this is infiltrated into all of our foodstuffs, all of our land, and all of our animals. So we have to say no. Okay? Let's just say no.
I'll just tell you a little bit about our farm. I farm in Saskatchewan with my brother. We're an organic farm. We started our process in 2005 and became certified in 2008. We use soil that we grow alfalfa in because it fixes nitrogen. We use that in our greenhouse every year. In August, late August, we take all the soil out of our greenhouse and replace it with fresh soil from the field. And then we don't have to add any other fertilizer. We can grow our crops for a full year without adding any fertilizers at all. But we require alfalfa. So a genetically modified alfalfa would likely cost us our certification. I cannot see how we can exist because canola we cannot grow because we can't produce it within 5 kilometers, or there's GMO canola produced within 5 kilometers, and the insects and wind and the pollination process transfers, so they won't allow us. I go to stores and see lots of organic canola oil, and I wonder where it comes from, I must say.
This is called Their Brains Were Small and They Died. When I sit in contemplation of the human situation, it's often with a certain sense of pride. Our achievements are many and mighty. The evidence can never be denied. But my reverie is shaken and my thoughts are often taken to a tragedy that happened long ago, when there moved through the land beings awesome and grand, the fabulous dinosaurs. They were creatures in a manner quite reptilian, in their unique and stylish way. And that's the same truck that went by. What is he circling the block?
Oh, it's Monsanto.
I know, it's Monsanto's truck. That's what it is. They're trying to disrupt this protest. They were creatures in a manner quite reptilian, in their unique and stylish way. And though their numbers reckoned in the millions, there are 0 of these heroes in the world today. They had music, art, and fashion, and dinosauric passion, and I'm sure they'd be enraged and mortified. But when they're mentioned today, it's only to say their brains were small and they died. Well, perhaps some asteroid that Mother Earth could not avoid became the agent of their premature demise. Well, I'm sure these things can happen, but who are we to criticize? When we'll pay most any price to have the ultimate device that ensures the perfect global suicide. I would venture instead that the humanoid head is where the tinier brain resides. And when we're gone, our works will start to crumble until nothing can be found. In 10 million years, some other guys will stumble on our fossils, then some also will begin to expound in his scientific study to his cockroach science buddies how the evidence can never be denied. They were big, dumb, and slow. They couldn't go with the flow. Their brains were small and they died.
Where did this?
The Certified Organic Associations of British Columbia have released their official statement on genetically modified organisms to government. And they write, I'll only read you the first paragraph, don't worry. They write, GMO contamination has long been a concern for the organic sector. In response to member requests, the COABC board has adopted a GMO statement. We, the members of the Certified Organic Association of BC, representing a significant and growing sector of the agriculture industry in BC, hereby declare zero tolerance for contamination of our soil, water, seed, livestock feed, and food supply with genetically modified organisms. We also reject Agriculture Canada's proposal for low-level presence, and we reiterate that zero means zero. The COABC demands that labeling labeling be mandated at the federal level in Canada to indicate the use or possible presence of GMO ingredients in food meant for human or livestock consumption. And then they go on with this great recommendation to call for a report of everywhere that genetically modified plants are being grown in Canada, and for that report to be public. And they conclude with, the use of genetically engineered organisms or their products are prohibited in any form, this is what they're calling for, in any form or at any stage in organic production. That is currently the rule. In organic production, process, or handling. For organic farmers, handlers, processors, and retailers, genetic modification contamination is utterly unacceptable, as it puts our entire food system at risk. And so I also wanted to share that I heard Vandana Shiva speak last week, the week before, and so many inspiring and exciting things were said. The one thing that has stuck with me was when she pointed out the exciting thing about working for change in the food system is that every day, 3 times a day, you get to make a little revolution. And I always say that the best thing that you can do to change the food system is vote with your fork. Every mouthful that goes into your mouth is a vote for the kind of world that we want. Now, a little caveat, in the case of genetically modified organisms, I think that we need to vote with our fork every day. I think we also need to vote at the ballot box, because some of these issues, you know, when it comes to cross-contamination of genetically modified organisms, my own decision to grow my own food, my friend's decision to buy food at her local farmer's market, certainly is a huge and revolutionary act, but it's not the only act we need. We also need to let our politicians know that this is why we're shopping at farmers markets. We need to let our politicians know that this is why we're buying from our organic friends in Saskatchewan. And we need to stand together, and we need to stand firm, and we need to vote with our fork 3 times a day, vote with our pens every time we write a letter, vote with our mouths and our hearts and our brains when we talk to our friends, when we invite our friends for potlucks, and explain what we're serving and why, and keep spreading the good word. Thank you all for coming.
And we happen to have a politician here. Would you like to say a few words? Make a commitment on the part of the NDP?
I'm Randall Garrison, Member of Parliament for Esquimalt, Juan, Fuca. I'm here today to stand against the introduction of genetically modified alfalfa. The NDP has called for a moratorium. In particular, alfalfa, as a bee-pollinated crop, it will be impossible to contain the cross-contamination from this crop. So there is absolutely no way this should go forward without, well, no way it should go forward, period, in my mind. That's right. And it's going to take a lot of work to get the government to label products so that people do have real choice in not using genetically modified products. But I think it takes a real political will from citizens, as we heard earlier, to vote with their forks and to let not just politicians know, but retailers know that they need to be buying from organic producers, and that we will support those products when they're available to us. And so thanks for giving me the mic for a few seconds here, but I'm definitely on board with this moratorium on genetically modified alfalfa, as is my party. That's the comments. Thank you.
Products from Monsanto. There's a list. It just came out on Facebook the other day.